Valor as a Twi'lek Jedi.
By the code, I will serve you, Shepard. Your choices are my choices. Your morals are my morals. Your wishes are my code.
This makes Samara sound like a reprogrammable person who grows and changes as the story progresses, kind of like a mirror of Shepard's actions. This is quite an interesting idea as far as character development goes, that every choice you make in a story should have a direct consequence on this person, like in shaping her personality. Maybe even that crown of hers means something, like a man-machine interface for uploading instructions. What a great idea! Of course, we didn't actually get anything like that. She's a warrior monk who smacks down evil with her mind, high heels. She's got a tragic story, she's like a hot but murderously nice Darth Vader, and can do that featherfall thing in tights. She's alien, tall, big, blue, gorgeous, wears high heels, some armor, is all in red, and doesn't know any tailor who uses Velcro or zippers. She's 1,000 years old if that's your thing. She has a code of ethics that determines all of her behavior. And the best scene of Mass Effect 2 of all, Samara's romance. Because it's not a romance. It tries to be and fails because she chooses not to accept Shepard, which also makes it the best romance in the game and the best scene. Samara is grief-stricken and feels old, a shell of a woman, fueled only by her love of her daughters, and now her training to become an agent of ethical lethal justice, all because she wanted to take responsibility for her completely evil daughter. She gave up everything, devoted her entire life to combat, and fatalistically protecting the innocent, for the sole purpose of hunting down Morinth. Then, out of nowhere, some human comes in and in a matter of days solves her quest. Samara is reeling from the realization, the death of her loved, monstrous daughter, the finalization of her personal quest, and the person who made this possible. The code had blinded her on how to behave, and now she's just been shown it's not the best way to solve problems or personal goals. Her entire life, her reason for being a Justicar, is now at question. Here enters Shepard, the person who made this possible, her knight in shining armor, and now a new personal conflict. There is no one else in the galaxy she could respect more, and perhaps fear more. Since joining Shepard, though she has experienced much, she realizes that there's more to life and appreciates the companionship. If Shepard is a paragon aside from Jacob, then there is no one else for Shepard to relate to more, whom could ever show the dedication, selflessness, loyalty, and concern for innocent life as her. Paragon Shepard has the stature and even greater ethical pull for others than even the wandering Justicar. They are both on the same mission, brought together through conflict and honor. There is simply not enough time or exposition to bring these two together romantically, although I was expecting a Paragon interrupt to playfully throw Samara to the ground, if Shepard could play the role of a maiden. Samara knows her oath to Shepard is gone once the mission is over, if they are to survive at all. Did bringing peace to her quest arouse romantic feelings? Yes. Can Samara properly deal with these feelings and come to the realization of what her life now means, with this vastly younger, though seemingly wiser person in it, who has caused this and other changes in her? No. There was no great acceptance of Samara from Shepard, for example, a comment that her genetics being the root cause of her problems, aside from two smaller comments about the pains of her life. Although there is a learning period, but nothing that Shepard greatly contributed to, as is the nature of communication with characters. It's almost a monologue. Shepard's romantic dialogue is short and succinct, but Shepard needs more time and courtship to properly accept Samara in their life, and to allow Samara to choose someone she can trust, with her new, realized self. That being a mother of Ardat Yakshi is not a bad thing, that Samara is not a broken woman, and that she is in fact the greatest mother and most passionate person Shepard has ever encountered. This scene summarizes Mass Effect 2, an unrequited if not poor attempt at a love affair standing alone amidst an amazing setting. Her code. She's memorized 5,000 sutras that involve every situation in the galaxy. It appears they all end in murder. It's some kind of ancient Asari rulebook of death. That is to say, if a Justicar is around, people die. Now this is ridiculous because ethics exist with the times, that is, as culture develops, and societies create rules of law. Now the Asari are a long-lived race, and more culturally advanced, more dynamic, and accepting of other species, considering they can mate with anyone. So something like a code of Hammurabi would most definitely not be relevant in these times. Although I buy the idea of an ancient code surviving all this time if it's updated, since Asari lived to be 1,000 years or so. But they're culturally advanced. How the devil would a spacefaring species accept an ancient sect of wandering warrior monks who kill others just because they're in their way? What possible service would a bunch of murderers have that are above the law, whom an advanced ethical society sees as valuable? The Justicars remind me of Plato's Republic, the gold-caste philosopher kings, who live communally and can't own property, except they don't kill their own people.
Why are you worried about other species coming into contact with her?
If a Justicar kills an Asari, none of us questions it. But if she killed a human... Do you think the Alliance would understand her actions and respect her authority? You can't even figure out your own religions. It's a big diplomatic incident just waiting to happen.
Tell me about the Justicars.
They're a monastic order. They've given up their families and possessions to follow their code. Most of them are on some lifelong mission, but they'll always stop to deal with any injustice they encounter, which can be a problem. In some ways, they're a lot like the Spectres, undertaking personal missions.
Spectres are authorized by the Council. Who do Justicars represent?
What? That's like, I don't know, a good human metaphor. They represent their code, our code.
Compare this to the other above-the-law people, the Spectres. They are given specific tasks by the Council, a galactic governing body. But Justicars don't have a governing body. They just follow whatever injustice exists, big or small. The rule of law exists only in Council space, whereas Justicars just go wherever and kill people, regardless of the rule of law in that area. So if you don't get your way with legal proceedings, if you can convince a Justicar to right your wrong, does that mean your opponents are going to die? That's the equivalent of having a communal hitman squad, kind of like the Schutzstaffel still being around after World War II, only integrated into normal society somehow. They knock on your door, demand information, and if you don't give it to them or they don't like what you have to say, they'll kill you, because their cause is just. There's also a small anecdote that involves her in her youth running away from collectors, but that's as close as we get to any plot relevance. Her code: truth, justice, and the relishing way. To meditate. Oh, and because she got a ship name, that's right. This is going to get messy. Samara wants the name of a ship. However, instead of coaxing it out of a defenseless opponent, she kills them. No wonder she's been chasing down leads for 400 years if all the leads she catches end up dead. Can't she read people's minds? Aren't Asari telepathic? Was there any justification for killing a defenseless merc? Even Shepard doesn't think so. Right, her code. Guess her code never taught her common sense, like how to interrogate someone for information, or asking the legal authorities for help, like the detective who does this for a living. The major problem with this is after Shepard gets the name, Samara decides to go after the Collectors just because she feels humbled over Shepard's words, not knowing it's the Collectors, or she relishes fighting a worthy foe. Word on the street is Collectors are completely mysterious and make odd transactions. Does she know what's been going on these past 2 years? That only our crack team of Cerberus operatives could figure out? So why fight them? Where's the great injustice that would make you risk everything for? Does she even know about what the Collectors have been doing? So far, she just sounds like she wants to kill things. So Shepard realizes that her code of murder would get in the way of any non-murder order they might give. So Samara has this honor-binding rule called the Third Oath of Subsumation, where we get the marketing angle. At this point, all Samara knows is she wants to fight the mysterious Collectors, or has found truth in what Shepard has said, and it humbles her. Yet she knows nothing of Shepard, yet has now put him and his commands on a level that supersedes her code? This is called being a retard. Shepard could be a galactic pedophile, or an interplanetary despot that kills women and children on weekends. If his reputation precedes him, then Samara might have learned that Shepard died, although might not be aware that Shepard's back. All she was doing while incarcerated was meditating next to the detective. I don't know, maybe the design team didn't have enough room to build a jail cell or something. But did she even do a background check on Shepard? Or ask the detective to find out who Shepard is, or that they're working with terrorists? For someone who's been around as long as her, she couldn't be that stupid. Or could she?